I'm Julie Zenner along with Dennis Anderson, and here's what's coming up on Almanac North.
The Minnesota Discovery Center in Chisholm is charting a new future as it emerges from the pandemic. We'll find out how the sprawling center is evolving.
We'll talk with Minnesota author Bill Strusinski about his book, Care Under Fire, the story of his tour of duty as a medic in Vietnam.
And Marshall Helmberger from the Timberjay newspaper is this week's guest on Voices of the Region.
It's all coming up next on Almanac North. Hello and welcome to Almanac North. Thanks for watching. And Denny, lots of folks are out enjoying the warm weather on our nation's birthday.
Wasn't that something? We had temperatures well into the 90s all over the area. I kind of liked it, but it got a little overbearing once in a while.
Well, I found myself in the lake a few times.
Oh, okay,
so
I did not do that.
It was all good.
There you go.
Take it away.
Very good. Thank you very much, Julie. Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers signed the state budget into law this week while using his veto powers on portions of the bill. Evers said vetoing the entire Republican-crafted budget was out of the question because it would endanger over $2 billion in federal COVID relief. The governor pledged to add $100 million outside the budget to increase school funding.
The Wisconsin Department of Health unveiled maps this week that show COVID vaccination rates across the state. The maps can be viewed by town, zip code, or school district boundaries. The breakdown shows Taylor County in central Wisconsin, has the lowest vaccination rate in the state, while Bayfield County is among the highest.
Protests over the construction of Enbridge's Line 3 pipeline escalated this week, and more arrests were made. The Aiken County Sheriff's Department arrested 6 on Tuesday as protesters blocked public roads to deny workers access to the job site. There have been hundreds of arrests so far as construction on the controversial pipeline continues.
And the Twin Ports said goodbye to the Coast Guard cutter Alder, which sailed under the aerial bridge for the last time on Wednesday. The Alder is bound for an East Coast shipyard for maintenance and then will be transferred to its new home port of San Francisco. The Alder will be replaced by the Coast Guard cutter Spar, which will arrive here at her new home next spring.
The Minnesota Discovery Center in Chisholm isn't wasting any time getting back on track from COVID. Its Redhead Mountain Bike Trail launched during the pandemic last year and is now open for its second season. Officials say the trail has had a bigger impact than anyone expected. The Discovery Center and the City of Chisholm commissioned a mini documentary on the trail to show how it has transformed that area. Here's a clip from that video.
I think one of the greatest things about Redhead is just the story that it tells. It tells that story of this area of the Iron Range and what has brought us success and life and business for many, many, many years. But now how we can reuse that and repurpose it to still bring us life and business and fun.
I really didn't know what we were getting into. I knew that, the Redhead site was focused on a number of old iron pits that were flooded, so what I knew is that we had a lake. But when I stepped onto the site and saw all the vertical red walls and the white trunks of the birches, my jaw literally just dropped, and I thought, this is not what I was expecting. It's so much more. Mountain bike destinations take typically 15, 20, 30 years to develop. And, last year there wasn't a mile of trail, and this year there's 25.
Every foot of this trail,
every inch of these trails
is literally carefully designed,
purpose-built,
constructed,
to maximize the engagement of the rider in the trail,
and will be maintained to make an absolute riding experience. It's a full immersion.
This isn't like your little rinky-dink trail that somebody scratched into the dirt. It is unlike anything you've ridden.
It's got features that look like the bluffs in Arkansas or the canyons in southwest Utah, but they were all made by really big machines digging a bunch of ore out of the ground.
Well, joining us now with more on the success of the Redhead Mountain Bike Trail and the future of the center is Donna Johnson, Executive Director of the Minnesota Discovery Center. And Jordan Metza is Fund Development and Marketing Coordinator at the center. Welcome. Thank you both for being here tonight. This is going to be an interesting discussion. Donna, can you tell us a little bit about that trail and what it has meant for the center and the city of Chisholm?
It has meant so many things in so different ways. It brought, other people who may not otherwise come to our front door into our parking lot. I think last year we saw close to 20,000 riders. Then they want to come and visit the Discovery Center and can learn more about how that landscape was created and why it's there. And even for downtown Chisholm, we've seen a lot of more increased lodging, eating at our restaurants, new businesses popping up, so it's benefited everybody.
That's wonderful.
Has this really exceeded expectations as people look at the impact over the last year?
Absolutely. We weren't really quite sure what to expect. Building a mountain bike trail of this caliber is a new thing to us in Chisholm, Minnesota. But thankfully, folks over at Cuyuna kind of led the way, so we knew we were on the right track. But to see the response, to see 15 or 20,000 riders show up to Chisholm was an incredible thing, and that let us know we had something.
This is the second season for the trail. Are there plans in the future to even make some different improvements or do some changing?
Absolutely, Dennis. We're looking already toward the future in phase 2 build out. We just completed this year 25 miles of trail, which is pretty incredible to go from 0 to 25 miles in just over a year. And now we're looking at phase 2, which would be expanding the park an additional 14 miles. We would be adding amenities in like paved pump tracks. Paved pump tracks are really cool because they allow experiences outside of the park for folks with wheelchairs or adaptive cycles, scooters and rollerbladers. It really adds to the overall experience. But skills course we're hoping to build as well, constructing that around some historic mining equipment and then enhancing user amenities throughout the trail system to include things like shade shacks, changing stations, bike wash stations, and stuff like that.
Sounds pretty ambitious. It also sounds pretty expensive. How much do you think the additional investment is going to be, and where would the money come from?
Well, the next phase will be about $1.9 million if all goes well and we get everything on the list we want. We did apply for LCCMR funding, which we'll find out end of August if we're accepted into that program.
And of course,
I understand there's also a website being developed?
Yep, so we just developed GoRedhead.com. It kind of lays out our vision for the park, which includes those 14 miles I just spoke of, and kind of lays out the costs of what we're building, and it's right around $1.9 million. And for a small town like Chisholm, that's a big lift. And so, it is a public park. It's open 7 days a week, and we thought, why not try doing a public crowdfunding campaign? We've seen an amazing demand for these new spaces, not only in Chisholm, but across the country. And so, there's a lot of public buy-in on these projects, and we're going to go ahead and take a shot and see if we can't get the public's help in raising a portion of that $1.9 million.
And of course, the Discovery Center is more than a bike trail.
Absolutely.
There's a 1,700-seat amphitheater there. What's planned for the summer?
We got a lot planned for the summer. We just had a great show with the iconic Minnesota group, The Suburbs. But upcoming, we have the Tamburitzins are coming, I believe in August. We have, yet this July, we have the Northern Lights Music Festival, Cinderella Opera and Orchestra, which is on July 16th and 17th, I believe. And just a load of, symphonies and orchestras, plays, and acts at the amphitheater. It's really a revival of this beautiful space that we have.
Donna, how did COVID-19 kind of provide an opportunity for you and the others up there to really reimagine the facility and its mission and where it's heading in the future?
Yes, I think during the closures gave us time just to take a deep breath and think outside the box and not just our normal routine and filling our calendars. as usual. So it gave us the opportunity to think of what can we do to really align with Redhead and help bring our museum out into the park and that Redhead Park out into our museum, and other ways we can grow the recreational uses and expand beyond just being a museum, but take advantage of our beautiful landscape and the huge facility we have.
So Donna, if a visitor comes to the museum, what can they expect to see?
Well, you can see we have a trolley, a historical trolley that takes us over to an old mining location called the Glen, where you can see old structures there. And then within our facility, we have a museum that focuses on Iron Range history, immigration, labor, all tons of different subjects. And then we have a research center. So when you go to ancestry.com, you're really kind of going into our database on your family history, which was really popular during the pandemic when people were home. And then we have an indoor park, outdoor park, the amphitheater, mini golf. We have got a lot to offer.
It's been over 10 years since the name changed, but
Yes.
I still hear people when they talk about the Discovery Center say, oh, you know, it's the old Iron World. Is there still a little bit of an identity crisis? Are there any efforts to maybe embrace that and bring it back in some way?
And I still hear Iron World, and I'm not sure, it is definitely an identity struggle to, have that transition and take over the new name, but like a lot of things on the range, we are rangers, we hold on to things even after they leave, and so, it's been a good 10 years, and we're starting to see the new brand kind of really develop and blossom into something great, especially alongside this new world-class mountain bike park.
And Donna, the Veteran Center is also located there at the Discovery Center. Can you tell us about that?
Yep, we have the Veterans Memorial right outside of when you come into our driveway, which we lease that land out to the local Press Lloyd Wright local chapter. So that was opened in 2000, but it's a really unique, fun little memorial area.
Well, we're out of time already. I want to thank you both for being with us tonight, Donna Johnson, Jordan Metza. Thank you so much for being our guest.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, it's time now for Voices of the Region. Each week we hear from a journalist in the area about the stories they are covering. This week, Marshall Helmberger from the Timberjay newspaper in Tower is our guest.
This week we talked to two of our area lawmakers to get their take on the just completed legislative session. While some of the higher profile issues before the legislature didn't get resolved, both Senator Tom Bach and Representative Rob Eklund were upbeat about much of what was accomplished. At the top of their list was a package of financial incentives that is expected to bring a new oriented strand board plant to the west end of the Iron Range. The plant, which will be built by North Carolina-based Huber Engineered Woods, is expected to bring 150 direct jobs to the area and to create substantial new markets for area loggers who've really struggled in the wake of the slowdown in the wood products industry. The deal includes financial commitments from the Department of Iron Range Resources and Rehabilitation and from the Department of Employment and Economic Development, as well as up to $3 million in annual production incentives for the company over the next 10 years. The incentives require the company, among other things, to purchase at least 80% of its raw wood from Minnesota suppliers. And Senator Bach said meeting that target will require more loggers in the woods. So there'll be a push over the next couple of years while that plant's under construction to try to encourage more logging in the area, more loggers to set up shop. The Huber Company is expected to break ground on the project next spring. Meanwhile, broadband was another win for the area that lawmakers are touting. The legislature approved $70 million over the biennium for the border-to-border initiative, which was the largest authorization for that program ever approved by the legislature. The Crane Lake area did well during the session with $6 million allocated for a Voyageurs National Park Visitor Center. Now, Crane Lake has never had a visitor center for the park, even though it's a heavily used entry point. So that's a big and important addition to that area. At the same time, the Crane Lake-based Voyager Country ATV Club was awarded approximately $1 million for trail development in that area. And another $1 million went to the Prospector Trail Club, which is based in Ely. So quite a bit of funding will be moving up our direction here as a result of the legislative session for a lot of different projects. So that's good news. We also checked in on progress on the Wasabi Trail, and folks may be familiar with that. That's the paved bike trail that will eventually run all the way from Grand Rapids to Ely. It's been a work in progress for about 2 decades now, and some of the final unbuilt segments, most of which are in the Tower and Ely area, are now under construction. And an 8-mile stretch that runs from Embarrass to about 5 miles south of Tower has just been paved and is ready to ride. I was actually walking on that just the other day, and it looks great. So I would recommend anyone who wants to bike that stretch, get out there, and it would also be great for rollerblading if anybody does any of that. And there are at least 2 other sections now under construction between Tower and Ely, which should be completed yet this summer. The full trail between Tower and Ely should be done by next summer. There's a few little sections that are still going to have to be done next year. But that's going to be, that's been a highly anticipated section, should be probably one of the most scenic portions of that trail. And so hopefully by next summer, we'll be able to do the whole length without any breaks, which will be great. I talked to trail director Bob Manzeline, and he said that the final link in the chain out of this 35 mile long stretch, there's about a 5-mile stretch south of Tower. And that one should be ready to go by the summer of 2023. So we still have a couple years yet to go on that one. And once done, that will cap a more than 20-year trail building project, which is pretty exciting. But of course, that won't end the work. In fact, some of the older segments of the trail are now in need of repaving or reconstruction. So I guess you could say the work never ends when it comes to the Wasabi Trail. But that's good because it's a very popular trail. Also, we're reporting on the American Legion baseball tournament, the annual Surgees Midsummer Classic, which will be having its 20th annual session here in Ely and Sedan this weekend. In fact, some of the games got underway today on Friday, but also they have a full slate of games both Saturday and Sunday. There's so many games, in fact, that they have to play some of them at the baseball field in Sedan. Teams from as far away as St. Paul and Wadena will be competing for the tournament title, and it promises to offer baseball fans plenty of excitement, particularly since this event had to be canceled last year due to the pandemic. So both fans, I think, and players are very excited to be back in action. And the weather's supposed to be nice, it's supposed to be mid-80s.
Over half a century now since the war in Vietnam, but many older veterans are still dealing with fallout from that conflict. A Minnesotan who served as a combat medic in all the war all those years ago has a new book he hopes will help veterans. Joining us now is Bill Strusinski, author of Care Under Fire. Welcome, Bill. Really, truly, thank you for being here. Appreciate your service that you gave to this country. What prompted you to write a book about your war experience?
Well, there was a couple of things, but I think the first one is I was asked to be a guest speaker, a keynote to the Minnesota Ambulance Association when they did their Stars of Life Awards a couple of years ago. And I had to think about that. and I said, okay, I'll do that. And because if anybody understood what I went through as a combat medic, it's the EMT paramedics.
Certainly.
And so I prepared some materials. I started writing my book and delivered my speech, and I got a standing ovation. I said, welcome home, brought tears to my eyes, and then they gave me one of the Stars of Life awards. And I said, since I have a good start on some material, I thought I might as well finish completing my story. I've been thinking about it for years and years, and I wanted my family to know who I am and how I got to doing what I do and how I make decisions and everything else. And so here it is. We got her done.
Bill, talk a little bit about what it was like as a 20-year-old to go to war, because I think a lot of people don't realize what young soldiers are being asked to do and what they go through.
Yeah, it was a very interesting experience, first of all. I was trained as a medic for 10 weeks, and I never saw a hospital other than my training at Fort Sam Houston, Texas. When I was in Vietnam, I was assigned to the infantry, and I spent my whole year in the field on patrols and doing everything, every day in the field. So it was didn't know what to expect. It was very hard. So I ended up learning how to put away the things of a teenager, and then picking up the instruments of war and learning how to deal with some pretty traumatic circumstances and processing all of those circumstances the rest of my life. So it was really challenging to do that. And I'm not sure young people today have, or nor should they be, perhaps, I think, have that same opportunity to learn about how far they can push themselves, how to overcome adversity or what have you. So.
Which brings up the question, Bill, what's the most important lesson you want readers of your book to take away from the book?
I think one of the most important lessons to realize is that freedom is not free, and you hear that expression all the time. But more importantly, these veterans who served in war, any war, I mean, they give a lot of their lives. Some of them give their lives. So that's traumatic enough. But they spend the rest of their lives dealing with the consequences of combat and of war. I didn't serve just 2 years in the Army. I've been serving since the day I got out of the Army for over 50 years with some of the issues. So I think that's really important. We now remember the veterans. And paramedics and everyone can relate to all of these things, and doctors and EMTs. It's about post-traumatic stress. So what's really, I wanted people to understand coming home now and dealing with that. You have veterans who have retired. They've raised a family their whole life. And they've worked their whole life, and now they're home and they're retired. And there's 100 veterans commit suicide a year in Minnesota. And so we need to help them. If you recognize somebody that needs some help, or talk to them, ask them what their story is. Get them to process these things they should have processed years ago.
In your work as a lobbyist, you did work on getting state funding for television documentaries about Vietnam and your experiences there. How did that help shape your decision to tell your story?
Dennis, it helped a lot because I worked with the legislature, and I testified a number of times before the legislature about the importance of getting that money to do a Minnesota Remembers Vietnam project for the same period of time, and for a year actually, and that was around the Ken Burns series on the Vietnam War. And so I testified a lot, and people started asking me lots of questions, and I could relate and presented some of my own experiences with them and how important this documentary would be for Minnesota Remembers Vietnam and all of the things we were going to do. So that helped a lot. That was also the other catalyst that prompted me to write my story.
The title of the book, Care Under Fire. Talk about, maybe share a story about an example of what that was like to provide care under fire, because providing care at any point is stressful. Any EMT would be able to tell you that, but you're actually under fire. Share that.
Yeah, I can briefly tell you the most traumatic experience I had, at least, was the first person under my watch that was killed in action. We were moving into an ambush patrol one night. You'd go out at night, you set up an ambush, and you wait for the enemy to come down your trail or your spot, and you attack them. But we were a little bit late, and we were going past this village, and we were in a wide open area. And the fellow next to me, and there's 10 of us on patrol, he saw a machine gun on the berm about 200 yards away, and he said, "Hit it, Doc." So he and I, we all hit it then. We got down on the ground as the machine gun burst, hit in front of us, and it burst through dirt into my face. And one of the bullets, one of the ricochets through dirt in my face, and one of the bullets struck him. And he died several hours later that night. But he was in so much pain care under fire, we're still being shot at, and he's trying to get up and move around and whatever, and I'm laying on top of him, giving him morphine to calm him down and do what I could and render that care. And that incident has always stuck with me my entire life. I relive that incident. That man saved my life, but I couldn't save his.
Wow. I need a short answer on this. Post-traumatic stress. What advice do you have for people who are still experiencing post-traumatic stress?
Well, I think veterans, I think EMTs, physicians, nurses, everybody, they should really talk about it with other people. Talk about it with other veterans if you want, and seek professional help if you need it. But at least start talking about it so that you can process it. All of us are willing to listen to it and help you get the help you need. You know, courage under fire is one thing where you're protecting your friends or defending freedom or whatever, but there's courage after that, and that's courage fighting for your benefits and your rights with the Veterans Administration, and they've been very, very good about addressing some of these issues nowadays.
Bill Strusinski, Care Under Fire. Thank you, Bill, for serving again in the war.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Well, that's our time for this week, but you can keep up with our latest posts by following Almanac North on Facebook and Twitter. Visit the WDSE website for program updates, upcoming events, and more information about the station. And download the PBS video app for on-demand viewing of your favorite PBS programs and past episodes of Almanac North. Well, Denny, it looks like another nice weekend to look forward to.
More yet? That's okay. Keep it coming. Winter arrives early.
Keep it coming because
Sure.
it does disappear too fast around here.
Really does.
Thanks to our guests and to the crew here in the studio with Dennis Anderson. I'm Julie Zenner. We'll see you next time.